Long ago in ancient Athens, the philosopher Plato told a powerful story called the Allegory of the Cave. It appears in his famous work, The Republic. The story is simple on the surface, but its meaning is deep and timeless. Imagine a dark underground cave. Inside the cave, a group of prisoners has been chained since birth. Their legs and necks are tied so tightly that they cannot move. They cannot even turn their heads. All they can do is stare straight ahead at a blank stone wall. Behind them burns a fire. Between the fire and the prisoners is a raised walkway. Along this walkway, people carry objects, statues, tools, animals made of wood and stone, and many other things. Because of the firelight, the objects cast shadows onto the wall in front of the prisoners. The prisoners see only these shadows. They hear echoes bouncing through the cave and believe the sounds come from the shadows themselves. Since they have never seen the real world, they think the shadows are reality. To them, the dark cave is the entire universe. They give names to the shadow. They argue about them. Some prisoners become skilled at predicting which shadow will appear next. Others admire them for their wisdom. In the cave, this is considered intelligence and success. But one day, something changes. One prisoner is suddenly free. At first, he is terrified. His muscles ache as he turns around for the first time. The fire behind him burns his eyes. He cannot understand what he is seeing. The objects near the fire seem strange and confusing. For his whole life, he believed the shadows were real. Now someone tells him the shadows were only reflections of deeper truth. He refuses to believe it, but slowly, painfully, he begins to understand. Then he is dragged out of the cave itself. The journey upward is difficult. Sharp rocks cut his feet. Bright light blinds him. When he finally reaches the surface, the sunlight is unbearable. He covers his eyes and wants to return to the darkness below. At first, he can only look at shadows outside, then reflections in water, later trees, rivers, animals, and people. Finally, after much time, he looks up and sees the sun itself. In that moment, he understands. The sun is the source of all light and life. The world outside the cave is infinitely larger, richer, and more real than the tiny shadow world he once believed in. The prisoner feels both joy and sadness. Joy because he has discovered truth. Sadness because the others are still trapped below. So he returns to the cave to free them. But when he goes back underground, his eyes struggle to adjust to the darkness. The prisoners laugh at him. They say leaving the cave ruined his vision. When he tries to explain the outside world, they think he is insane. How can there be anything more real than the shadows? They ask. The prisoners become angry. Some even threaten to kill anyone who tries to free them. Plato's story was not really about a cave. The cave represents ignorance. The shadows represent illusion, false beliefs, and limited understanding. The journey outside the cave represents the painful path toward knowledge, wisdom, and truth. And the sun symbolizes ultimate truth and enlightenment. Plato believed that most people live like the prisoners, accepting appearances without questioning reality deeply. Those who seek knowledge often face resistance because truth can be uncomfortable. Even today, the allegory still feels relevant. People can become trapped by propaganda, social pressure, fear, shallow entertainment, or unquestioned beliefs. Escaping the cave requires curiosity, courage, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. That is why Plato's cave remains one of the most famous philosophical stories ever told.